How's it going, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you are in the world. Right now, I'm going to continue the second part of the series of After the Wealth Transfer, Now What? Now, I'm making a part 2 because I missed some points on the first video. So they all came up in my mind later on the day when I was listening to this video, and I was like, gosh, I forgot to mention all these. So I made a part 2, okay, guys? So I'm gonna put it on the first video, letting you guys know that there's 2 parts of this small series. All right, after the wealth transfer, one of the first things you want to do when you receive your money, when you made profits, and you want to send them to your cold wallet. The reason why you want to send it into a cold wallet, just to hedge a blackout or a major hack in all exchanges, stuff like that. That's why you want to move them into a cold wallet, because if the grid goes down, if all these hackers are attacking the water system and all, the grid and everything, you want to send your crypto, your assets into a cold wallet where it can be offline. So that's where a cold wallet surpasses a hot wallet, because a hot wallet always needs the internet. And, in the internet, you can always be susceptible. But when you store it in a cold wallet, no matter what happens in the surface, in the world of the internet, your cryptos lay dormant offline underground, if you know what I mean. So they hedge all these arrows that flow throughout the day, all these wild animals that roam throughout the night. Your cryptos are buried off the grid. You know what I mean? So that's I don't know if I'm making this explanation clearly to you guys, but yeah. So let's begin there. Whenever you receive your money, whenever you made your profits, and you want to, send all of your crypto to your cold wallet, one of the first things you want to do is send test amounts to your cold wallet before you send the lump sum. Okay, guys? Because a lot of you guys might not know how to travel in networks, because, sometimes, let's say you want to send Shiba Inu into your wallet, but the exchange will tell you in what network you want to send it to, what network, or the most or Tether in other ways. You want to send some Tether or USDC, and they'll ask you what network you want to use, and they'll entice you. They give you good networks. They'll give you Solana. They'll give you the BP20. I think that's the Binance network and all this. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. If you choose any network where your wallet or your exchange do not accept it, all that money is lost. So I do encourage, after the wealth transfer, send test amounts. I'm talking about like low, like whatever the exchange lets you to send. Like sometimes it's only $40 when it goes to USDT, and other cryptos is much more lower. It can be like $5, $10, $20. Send test amounts before you send the lump sum. Heck, just to avoid everything, you can send that lump sum into 3 or 4 different transactions, but you always go to your cold wallet and check if you received it. Most of the time, it takes a while. Sometimes it takes hours for you to receive it, depending on how busy the network is. So always send test amounts. I encourage you, especially if you're new in crypto or you don't have enough time in crypto, send test amounts, because a lot of people have screwed up like that. They send, they will send thousands or whatever, and all of that goes to the wrong network. So for your sake, people can lose the wealth transfer like that. You're giving your wealth transfer to somebody else. You know what I mean? So people can actually lose their wealth transfer right after they received it, because of ignorance, because you have done no research on it. So do it slowly. I know you'll be all involved in your emotions. You'll be rushing everything. I know I will, but try to slow down and send test amounts, and make sure you receive those test amounts to your wallet, so you can make sure you're doing things right, So you can make sure that you're withdrawing all that crypto or transferring all that crypto into your cold wallet, and go to your cold wallet and check that you have received all your money. Send test amounts. Do not, I encourage you, even if you're a pro, just because it's going to be so much money, guys. It's going to be too much. And I just want you guys to make sure, you know what I mean? Just make sure, send a test amount. Better safe than sorry, because a lot of people, I feel like they're going to lose their wealth transfer because of ignorance. Okay. So that's the first point. All right. Let's move on to the credit unions. Okay. Now, the next point is get a credit union. They are nonprofit organizations, and most of the time is at the member's favor. You know, the member of a credit union, meaning us. So credit unions, just in case a banking crisis happens, I think having a credit union is really smart. I got some credit unions, so I was able to expand, and I encourage you to do that now before it happens, so you can have already a nest to where you can lay your eggs, or you can have a place to where you can lay your assets, your money. Okay, so I have another point right here. Any sums you're sending to pay off large debts or large ticket items, try to write a check or bank wire it. Okay, that's another one. All right, so please to try not to go to the bank and be like, I deposited all this money and I want $100,000 in cash. You can do that, but you will not get it immediately. Just try not to do that. Be smart, guys. When you have a large ticket item you want to pay off, like let's say you had debts. Let's say you want to pay off your car note. You have like thousands, tens of thousands to pay off your car note, or even a mortgage. You know, you owe a house. Call them directly to those people, to the people you owe the house to, or the car to, the dealership, or shoot, even student loans or any type of loans. Call them directly and tell them, hey, I want to pay off all this amount. You can try to do this ACH or bank wire it as well. As long as you got all the info of them, make sure everything's correct. The last option would be writing them a check as well. So when it comes to large ticket items, you wanna pay off, or not only pay off, but also, let's say you want to get yourself a nice car, you want to get yourself a nice truck. Shoot, you want to go get you a nice house. You can try to write a check on that, you know, or you can bank wire it. But any large ticket items, do that. Don't try to cash everything. Like, in my opinion, I'm like, why would you do that? Now, the only reason why you want to have a lot of cash is because you want to store cash, which we'll get to that in a minute. All right, so that's one thing. The next one is the only reason, okay, here we go. The only reason to hold large amount of cash is to survive a banking crisis. I'd rather buy gold/silver in ounces, since the value goes up when a global currency is facing a hard time, and the cash devalues. So if I were you, try not to cause a red flag, or you know, you can always ask for cash, right? They'll give it to you in a week or maybe 2 weeks, depending on how much liquidity they have. But try not to get so much attention from these guys when you're trying to get cash like that after the wealth transfer, because I know a lot of people are going to do that. But like I said, you can always go to a verified gold seller, and also you can bank wire this transaction, use a check, or ACH this transaction, for God's sake, you know, instead of using cash. That's what I'm saying. There's ways to do that to avoid raising eyebrows or raising unnecessary attention. And in the end, you don't want to get followed, right? Especially here in the US. That's another thing. So I trust these sites like JM Bullion. You have SD Bullion. Now, there's other gold sites that will give you a discount buying gold and silver when you buy large bulk amount of gold and silver. You can also do that too as well. But are they safe? I do not know, because there's so many of them. So, but I'm giving you those two sites because those two sites, especially JM Bullion, is a little bit more expensive there. But I've been using them since 2019. Time, the furthest time I can remember. They've been trustable. They've been always there. Also, if you're trying to buy gold from a gold dealer, whether a gold dealer down the street or even online, the 1-800 number lines, you know what I mean, that they give you a discount supposedly. If you're going to buy gold actually from anywhere, try to learn how to test it, okay? Same thing with silver. Try to test it because the last thing you want to get is fake precious metals, all right? Now, next, credit unions, like banks, only secure $250,000 by the National Credit Union Administration, parentheses, NCUA. Try to have no more than $250,000. They would more than likely not have all the cash amount at hand, like I said, but you can make a request and schedule before picking up an amount once they have it available. Please sit down with your local credit union and verify any questions or concerns. All credit unions may have a different answer. So let me share to you this one time that I sat down with my credit union and I asked these questions. This was like last month. I'm walking by faith. I'm walking like it's going to happen. I sat down and I'm like, okay, what's the limit? What's the most I can send in here? And they were like, there's no limit. You can send any limit. Oh, okay. So that means I can drop $1 million. I can drop $1 million in here. I can send $1 million. And they were like, yeah, but the guy was very nice to me. He was very sincere. And I'm gonna tell you right now, not a lot of people are gonna expose this or tell you this. They're gonna just keep it to themselves. Sometimes when you don't expose the right information, you make the other person suffer, and sometimes they do it on purpose. So this guy was very nice to me. He said, but you don't want to send more than 250,000 because he said that the FDIC only insures that, which is when it comes to credit unions, the NCUA, if I'm right. Let me see, I just read that. Yeah, the National Credit Union Administration. So that's the most amount they can insure if there's a banking crisis. And you sent $1 million, guess what? Those $750,000 are gone. Try to send that amount. You can always open more credit unions, a few more, just to expand your withdrawal limits. All right. Okay, we're going to go to the next topic. Make sure what's your withdrawal limits in your crypto exchanges. Now, every crypto exchange is different. They're all going to provide you different withdrawal limits to your bank. I'm not talking about XRP to your bank or anything. I'm talking about, money, actual money, USD, dollars, or Canadian dollars, Singaporean dollars, or Mexican pesos, or anything like that. You want to make sure how much your exchange will withdraw to your bank, because crypto exchanges have withdrawal limits too. Now you can up those withdrawal limits per request. You can also contact your crypto exchange and ask, can I raise my withdrawal limit? Now they'll ask you why, and you just got to give them a good reason why you want to up your withdrawal limits. And just, you can simply say that you have a lot more assets coming in. I have a lot more money coming in. Such and such. Or you can keep it as is. The limits, you can keep it as is if you're not planning to withdraw so much cash into the system or into the United States or wherever country you're at. So, always investigate or make research about your withdrawal limits on all the exchanges you are in, okay? So you won't be surprised to see like, oh, okay, you might be surprised if you just see a limit of 100,000 per month. So yeah, you got to keep that in mind as well. That's why I told all of you guys to expand to your to different crypto exchanges, so you can dominate more. You know what I mean? So now let's go to the next point. Research about crypto tax-free countries. All right. So I'm going to put it on your screen that I'm scrolling to, articles like that. You can make research about that. Countries with no crypto taxes or anything like that. So try to research about that. Try to search countries that are tax-free for crypto as well. Like I said, you can always try to be a resident of that country or somehow so you can get that benefit. Now, the next one this is more personal, but I think it's a must for the Christian community, for everybody listening. And the main point why we're here, of this wealth transfer and how we're going to glorify God, all right, through our wealth, this is his wealth. We gotta remember that, and he can take it away anytime, especially if we're not doing any of his work, all right? So we got to keep that in mind. We got to stand in God's fear and pray in God's fear. The God's fear will always be in us. So the next point is help the church, whether in a foreign country or back home. This can also be a physical church, you know what I mean? So let's say you are in a physical church, you're there, the wealth transfer has happened, and you're not pitching in. And I encourage you to pitch in, all right? So help them primarily in their missionary work, because these guys are the ones doing the major work, going into different countries and preaching God's word. There's no problem. I don't see no problem you seeing proof, okay? Proof or receipts, pictures of the work, or what's the progress. This is your money. In the end of the day, this is your money. So if, in my opinion, you have the right to ask, okay, I donated 1 million. I donated tens of millions or even more. You know what I mean? So feel free to ask for proof, okay, guys? You can always start small, kind of like to test the church, to test that if you can trust them. You know what I mean? Especially if you're attending a new church or a semi-new church and you don't know how they work. You can sit down with these guys and be like, okay, what do you need help on? And then when you give a lending hand, or when they tell you an amount, how much they need or whatever, and then you help, make sure you be on it and you see that they're spending the money righteously, because in this wealth transfer, God is going to put a lot of churches in the test. God is going to unveil the motives of different churches. Their work, their missionary work, if they're actually spending on it, or they're spending on it on something else, or you can actually see if they're pocketing all this money. But always be thorough. I do recommend you guys, before you unleash a lump sum, to begin slowly, especially if you're new to a certain church that you're attending. Also, this can also mean overseas, when you're overseas, or not only overseas, but in a different country. In other words, in a foreign country, you're attending a church and you want to help them, you can go ahead and help them. But always, I'm a guy of proof, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, hey, I know you love me, but I want to see proof. So I'm a guy of proof. So that's the thing. I don't see nothing wrong, because this is your money. Well, this is God's money. But also, I don't want you guys to get taken advantage. So don't feel scared to ask for proof and ask, hey, okay, how's the progress going? Because a lot of people, so many people have been scammed, stolen also by churches. You know what I mean? So make sure that they're doing the righteous work, because a lot of churches, a lot of pastors, a lot of these people, not only in the church, like in the physical church, but also family members are going to be exposed with these blessings that we're going to try to hand out and help other people. Because we're going to see their motives. We're going to see where they're going to spend it on, or if they can be trusted with more. So same thing when you're in a foreign country, you're attending a church, a regular service on Wednesdays, Sundays, or every other day or something like that, whenever they have, or on Saturdays. And you'd be like, okay, I really want to help these guys. I want, it looks like they have too many people for the building. The building is too small. I want to do it big. You can always do that. But always ask for proof. Always ask for the budgets. And you can always sit down with these guys And don't be afraid to be calling every month or, every certain period to check on the progress and check, because in the end of the day, God entrusted this money to you. And you're entrusting this money to somebody else, a portion of it, and you want to keep yourself updated, right? Same thing with how God is going to handle us with this money. I have a feeling that God is going to check up on us and be like, okay, how are you doing with this? You remember the other guy that gave money to the other guys, the guy with the 5 talents and the guy with 1 talent. So he eventually came back to check on him and ask, hey, did you multiply it? Did you do anything? Did you gain me more money than what I gave you? So this is the same thing, guys. We got to check on these people, on everybody, okay? And I encourage you, when you're supporting a church, I want to encourage you to put extra amount of money to the missionary work, because they are doing the major part of this job. If anything, the church will be able to support more missionaries or more people within the body of Christ to actually support them overseas or wherever they are, so they can push the kingdom for us. Because these are like hands reaching all over the world, guys, the missionary work. And I do encourage for us to support missions all over the world. You know what I mean? The preaching of the gospel, opening new churches, all of this stuff, taking God's word to a new level. All right, that's it for now. That's it. That's all I got for now, guys. God bless you all, guys. And it looks like I took as long as the other video. That's it. Thank you for being here, for listening to me again. And see you the next time. Don't miss me too much. God bless.